Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is Taylor, Jake, and Barb for our Roundtable Masked Singer recap. Last night, we saw Group A take the stage together for the final time. It was the Group A championship. We saw Sun, Popcorn, and Snow Owls bring out amazing performances. There were a lot of guesses, and at the end of the night, somebody was unmasked. We will get to that in just a second. But first, real quick, since we didn't get to have a show last week, I want to talk about, real quick, Group C last week with the unmasking of Squiggly Monster being Bob Saget. Was anybody surprised with that guess? I think we all pretty much figured it out after really putting all the clues together.
I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised that he went home so fast. I thought he was going to stay around. I thought for sure Broccoli was going to go because I thought he was worse. But
I think Broccoli had a worse performance
I
than he
think
did.
Broccoli's issue is with who I think it is. I think it's Paul Anka. I think the major issue with Broccoli is the fact that he is singing. He's not singing the typical songs he would sing. The song he did the first week, there was actually a video of him singing that in concert. But his song, he's more of a crooner. He sings more, swing, big band, stuff like that. And plus, he also wrote My Way by Sinatra. So when you're out of your element, you're not going to sound as good as you would if you were singing what you normally sing.
He's like one of the original teeny boppers, in the early 60s. And so like stuff like the ballads and stuff, like if you were to sing one, I would know 100% that was Paul Anka.
Yeah.
And I think he's
doing it too.
But even if he were to like sing a Barry Manilow song or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought for sure it was going to be Broccoli that was going to go.
Mm-hmm. And then I think we've all figured out that Jellyfish is Chloe Kim.
Yes.
Especially the yoga mat clue last week is because I was sort of listening to you and sort of picking up on the clues, and I forgot what I was doing a search of. Oh yeah, I was searching YouTube of Chloe Kim singing to see if maybe there was a video of her singing to maybe see if the voices would match. But a video came up of her on, I think it was James Corden talking about using yoga mats, and that tipped me off. Jellyfish is definitely Chloe Kim. I have no idea who Mushroom is.
Well,
the only person I know of that isn't Mushroom is Adam Lambert.
Oh yeah. No,
they think everybody's Adam Lambert. They think everybody's Adam Lambert.
I know. I was like, as a fan of Adam Lambert, I just crack up because like I would know him as Adam.
Yeah, you would know his voice right away if you heard it.
Yeah. His voice is very hard to disguise, especially when he goes for the high notes. And in knowing him, if he were to do this show, it would be very hard for him to disguise himself. Barb's dog is joining the show as a special.
Just woke up.
Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to Group A last night. They actually started off with the group performance of Pink's Raise Your Glass. I really like when they do the group performances just because it's nice to see them having fun, see them singing together. I thought it was really, really fun to see.
I liked it.
It was good. I liked it. And I liked that the clues that they gave out.
I didn't know we were supposed to be like looking at that thing just to see the clues on like that, like whatever that the thing that was above
the robot
when they were performing.
Yeah.
I didn't think to look there. Because I was like, where's the clues at?
I only saw the one for the Snow Owls, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, the others I didn't see, so I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So first up of the night, we had Sun, and everybody on last night's show, they interviewed like a personal friend or somebody they're related to. They interviewed what seemed like Sun's husband, talked about how since the pandemic, they've been traveling a lot in their RV. There were postcards for Baltimore and Alaska. For her performance, she sang Janis Joplin's Piece of My Heart. And finally, after it, each week we see it more and more, and finally we saw Full Country Son. It's definitely LeAnn Rimes, and I'm actually surprised the panel hasn't guessed LeAnn Rimes yet, because especially Jenny, who was pretty big back in the 90s, I figured she'd definitely know it's LeAnn Rimes. And then Robin, who analyzes the clues pretty well and knows a lot of famous voices. Nicole, I'm surprised she didn't guess it. Ken, I don't know where the hell his head was last night. We'll get to that later. But
Ken's on another planet, so yeah.
Yeah, he is on another planet.
But I thought Sun did really, really well. I thought it was her best performance, actually. I thought it was really, really, really good.
Can we talk about amazing? Like, that was, like, the best performance of the night. Like, if, like, she really needs to be in finals after this performance. Like, that was just amazing. And I'm surprised they haven't guessed LeAnn Rimes yet. Like, Nicole, out of all people, Nicole guessed LeAnn Rimes last season.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely sealed it. And I know that the guy that was talking was probably Eddie Cibrian.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's her.
And also, she was apparently, I guess they filmed a movie together in Alaska.
They did. That's where they met.
Saying on Twitter.
They met in Alaska?
I believe so. That they met on like a movie set or something. They did
it
in Nora Roberts.
I'm pretty sure they filmed a movie in Alaska.
Yeah, it was actually a Nora Roberts book that they filmed up there, because I read the book. I'm a big Nora Roberts fan.
Nora Roberts.
And that's where they met.
The clue from her personal friend, she has at least one gold record. I'm pretty sure that LeAnn Rimes has even gone platinum before. So, I mean, that was a pretty really good clue that breaks it open a lot. Ken guessed Catherine McPhee, which was a pretty sane guess for Ken, but Catherine does not have a country twang at all.
Yeah.
I don't think she's got a gold record either. I could be wrong, but I don't think she does.
Ken said she did. I really didn't get a chance to really look online to see if she did. That's something that I should probably research for future, because they keep guessing her. She's going to end up being on the show. So
yeah.
Niecy Nash, who I really, really loved as guest judge last night. She guessed Jewel, which again,
that's a good guess.
With the clues that were given, wasn't really a bad guess. But I don't think Jewel has that range. I mean, I could be wrong, but from what I've heard of her, she doesn't have that really, really big range.
Jewel was a good guess, and like some of the clues fit. So, it could. I mean, it was not a bad guess. If it's not LeAnn, which we all know it is.
Funny thing is, before we knew Crocodile was a guy, when we thought it was a girl at first.
We thought it was a girl.
Tic-tac-toe clue actually made me think it was Jewel because of her song Foolish Games. So, but instead of Foolish Games, it turned out to be Quit Playing Games with My Heart. So. And Jenny guessed Demi Lovato. Again, with all the Disney stuff, I don't think they'd make it that open in the clue package, especially with it being on season 4. And that's
Demi Lovato is another consistent guess people do every season. Right along with
especially when they talk about, having personal struggles and stuff, they automatically guess Demi Lovato the same way they do with any type of LGBT clue. They guess Billy Porter automatically, or RuPaul.
But the thing is, much like Adam, you would know Demi's voice when you hear it.
Yeah. Up next, one of my guilty pleasures of the season, we had Snow Owls. The friend said that he has known Snow Owls for 20 years. There was, in the clue package, we saw the Parthenon, a Rocky Horse, a Roy Rogers, which is some sort of mixed drink. They sang The Prayer by Celine Dion and Andrea Bocelli. Not my favorite performance by them, but it really starting to show more the countryside of the duo, which, they've been going on, pretty much been guessing country duos or similar duos for the past few weeks. Niecy Nash guessed Brad Paisley and Kimberly Williams Paisley. I don't know if Kimberly can sing, right off, but I knew that wasn't Brad's voice. Brad's voice is a lot lower. Robin guessed Vince Gill and Amy Grant, which again, not really a bad guess, but Vince Gill has a really, really distinct tenor voice, and I think like Adam Lambert, we would know that voice if it was him. Ken guessed Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman.
I know. They're not even together anymore.
Yeah, so, they broke up.
Yeah, they did. They broke up a long time ago.
They did.
I don't think either one of them can sing like that. And
I don't think they can sing either.
Their heights don't even match. Danny DeVito is only like maybe a millimeter tall. So
yeah, he's short.
I think he's about my height, maybe a little bit taller.
And Clint Black is short, but he's not Danny DeVito short. So, and the personal friend clue, they hinted at them being a couple. I mean, anybody that sings that passionately, like we've seen the past few Group A performances, there's no way that they can be brother and sister or just friends. I mean,
right.
The people that were saying Derek and Julianne Hough after the first performance, I thought were complete idiots because there's no way a brother and sister would have that much passion on stage. I mean,
well, if they did,
unless they were from
Arkansas, family.
Unless they were from Arkansas, but we're not going to go there.
Or Alabama, or
But anyway, Snow Owls were unmasked at the end of the night, and we'll talk about that a little later on. Moving on, up next we had Popcorn. Her best friend talks about knowing her through a personal friend. They sang together a lot at karaoke parties. There are a few Russian clues in there. The friend they interviewed has actually been on Masked Singer. They really didn't clarify whether it was a performer or as a person on the judges panel. I thought it was another good performance by Popcorn. I didn't think it was her best, but nonetheless, still a really, really good, strong performance. As far as guesses go, Jenny guessed Taylor Dane based on we've guessed you before, and also put the connection with Leah Remini, when the personal friend talked, they disguised her voice. But her accent sounded a lot like Leah Remini, who is also from New York. And so that sort of put that together. Niecy guessed Cyndi Lauper, which isn't a bad guess, but Cindy's voice, I think, is a little more squeaky. She has a good voice, but it's very kind of mousy. And then Ken guessed Anita Baker, and Anita Baker is as close to a bass singer as you can get. It's my dad's a huge Anita Baker fan. I've heard her voice before, and that is not Anita Baker's voice. I'd love to see her on the show, but then again, it's not Anita Baker. And I still think that Popcorn's Taylor Dane.
Absolutely.
Well, my thing is, I know that a lot of people are on, the Taylor Dane train, but the only reason I'm saying that it might not be her is because they didn't guess her before last night. And the friend said they had guessed her on the show before, so
she also could have been referring to another season, and
yeah, I mean, I don't think they guessed her in previous seasons, so that's the only reason I'm kind of
maybe remember it being maybe one time, but I'm not 100% sure. But the voices, when I first heard the voice sounded very, very, very familiar. And I really couldn't put my finger on it. And then people were guessing Taylor Dane, and I was, wondering where I heard that voice before. Turns out she actually did a song for the soundtrack of the movie Blank Check. And that's how I figured out that that's where I'd heard that voice before, from that song that they played in Blank Check that Taylor Dane did. And that's when I kind of realized, oh, that's where I've heard that voice before. So, but anyway, I still think that Popcorn is Taylor Dane. So in the end, Sun, of course, got the most votes and was saved from going into the SmackDown, which I think was the right choice. I think that Sun definitely is the best of Group A. It'll be interesting to see what happens when we get to the Super Six and she has to go up against Seahorse because they're both such powerhouse vocalists. I think that they will split a lot of the viewers, especially the ones that have been voting from home in the virtual audience. So they did the SmackDown last night. I actually thought that Snow Owls did better in the SmackDown than they did in the previous performance. And that's when you really, really heard Clint and Lisa Black on that song. I think at that point they kind of knew that they weren't going to move on, so they really didn't care to disguise their voices, so they just decided to sing.
Yeah.
And that's how I think Nicole actually finally figured out who it was by looking at the clues and then hearing them sing in the SmackDown. And she was right. It was Clint Black and Lisa Black who were unmasked. Of course, Taylor, Popcorn, I almost called her Taylor. Popcorn is moving on to the Super Six. I actually thought that Popcorn was going to go just because the novelty of Snow Owls and just because they're kind of the dark horse of the competition. But it ended up being Popcorn that going through, and I'm really not surprised. I thought that Popcorn and Sun definitely are the best of the three, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the Super Six.
I liked both of their performances, but I also didn't know who Clint Black and Lisa Hartman were, but that's also because I don't listen to country music, so that's probably why I don't really listen to country music, so that's probably why I'm not familiar with them, but I thought that both of them were good. I'm a huge fan of Popcorn, so that's why I was kind of excited that she went through, and also she's in my pool draft of Popcorn and Sun are both in my pool draft of who I want to win, so I'm kind of excited. They both went through. We're both very excited.
I knew, well, I don't really listen to a whole lot of country either, but I knew Lisa Hartman only because of, like, in the first initial clue, they had the witch's hat, and she played Tabitha in the spinoff of Bewitched. Because she was cast because of her similarity to Elizabeth Montgomery. And but yeah, I knew it was her. I wish they would have done a Knots Landing clue, because that would have sealed it for me.
Yeah. That's probably
a
lot of people would have picked up on it.
I actually thought Snow Owl did the weakest performance between the two last night, so I wasn't surprised that they left.
So moving on, next week we have the Group B championships, and because they're talking about the Super Six, I think that there's probably going to be a double elimination next week, and if I had to guess, I would say that we're going to lose Whatchamacallit and Serpent, and I think that Seahorse and Crocodile will go through to the Super Six.
I mean, I definitely think it's a given that Seahorse is going to move on to finals because, or to Super Six. I definitely think Seahorse is definitely going to move on. I'm not sure between the other three. I definitely think Whatchamacallit needs to go. Between Serpent and Crocodile, they're both good. So it's a toss-up between who would go between them.
I think Serpent and Seahorse will go through.
My only reasoning that Crocodile would go over Serpent is because of the fact that if the people that were watching in the virtual audience picked up that it was Nick Carter, who a lot of people say it is, that they would want to keep him over Serpent. I'm really wanting to see Whatchamacallit and Serpent unmasked because nobody really has no idea who either one of them are. A lot of people are saying that Serpent is Leslie Odom Jr., I'm not really thinking it's him because of the Caribbean clue, because they wouldn't make it so obvious with the Hamilton reference in the first clue package. The reason I think it is Taye Diggs is because of he did some sort of Caribbean show at Disneyland, I think in Japan or Paris. It wasn't in the U.S. It was out of the U.S. and the Dr. Clues in the package. Some people are saying that it's some guy named Dr. Elvis is the serpent. Number one, I have no idea who that is. Number two, they wouldn't make so many doctor references in a clue package for somebody that goes by the name Dr. Elvis.
Right.
So
I have no idea who Dr. Elvis is either, and I did
either.
Google it. And so I have no clue, but I still think it's Leslie Odom.
I really can't wait for next week because I really want to see who whatchamacallit and Serpent.
Same.
If they are the ones unmasked, I'll be really excited. And then after that, we have Group C, of course. Probably more than likely Jellyfish and Mushroom will move on. Setting up for what I think will be the most difficult Final Six the Masked Singer has ever had. And the Final Six show is actually a triple elimination. So I think there could be some surprises. I think the final three will probably be Sun, Crocodile, and I don't know who the third. I could see Seahorse being a shock elimination because I don't think both Sun and Seahorse will make the finals. I just don't see it happening. I could be wrong, but just considering their similar vocal styles, I don't see it happening. I think that anything can happen between now and the finale, and I can't wait.
I mean, for me, I already know who I won in the finals. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I mean, I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed. So for me, I'm Sun. If Seahorse isn't a shock elimination, is not a shock elimination, then I'm gonna say Seahorse. And then my third pick is Jellyfish because I mean, I think those three are better singers than some of the others. So that's my pick for finals.
I have to agree with on the Jellyfish, like Jellyfish, Popcorn, and Sun. I'm gonna say those three.
I can't wait to find out. And next week I think it's going to be a really, really, really great show. I can't wait.
Oh yeah.
Until then, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Also today we'll be doing the recap of Tuesday's Voice Battle Rounds. Make sure you stay tuned for that. And we will see you next Thursday for the Masked Singer Group C recap, or Group B rather. Once again, I'm Taylor along with Barb and Jake, and we will see you next time.